Morning. Welcome back to Ty Sports Picks 24. Ty Sports Picks 24, the number one growing sports picking YouTube channel in the world. Not just in America, in the world. We're gonna take over the world with it, baby. Sorry for missing yesterday. It had a lot of going on. Been family reunion. That's why I'm repping for the fam. You know, the Johnson family. I'm gonna get to these picks, and then we're gonna get to this topic. You see the title, Deion Sanders, aka Coach Prime versus the lies. There's some very interesting lies and truths being told, and we're gonna try to interpret which is which, you know. But we only got baseball picks today. We got the Arizona Diamondbacks money line. We got the Miami Marlins money line. We got Minnesota Twins money line. We got Kansas City Royals money line. We got Oakland A's money line, and then the Los Angeles Dodgers money line. So no spreads, only money line. That's going to be Diamondbacks, Marlins, Twins, Royals, A's, and Dodgers. So you can go ahead and lock those in, but I hope you stay for the show. There's going to be an interesting show. We got a lot of topics to touch on. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to hit everything, but we're going to do our best, because who better than us? The number one sports pick show. Now, it's a lot going on with Coach Prime. I don't know if I'm gonna read this whole article, but basically it's an article. You can go look it up on Athlon Sports. Now, Athlon, they usually do a college football preview, big magazine, but since everything is digital now, they have to get into all types of media, doing like stories. I believe they always had stories, in the magazine, but just specifically they're doing like regular stories like how I do the show every day. Now, they have an article titled Deion Sanders chaotic culture turns into locker room violence in Colorado. Coach Prime keeps it cool on the outside, but inside it seems to be boiling over. Now, some of the main things that you'll see inside this article, they speak on players having guns, which isn't illegal depending on what state you're in. But as far as like waving guns, we had the whole John Morant thing. One interesting thing, they had a case in Florida. This was a recruit prior to him to joining the team. So I don't know if this reflects the culture or this reflects a coach trying to take recruits, kind of like how Bobby Bowden did when he was at Florida State, guys that's rough around the edges and kind of cleaning them up. Because anybody that knows me when I was a kid, I was always an A student, but I always was kind of, a little rougher on the edges. But I was smart, though. That's one thing about it. I was smart. Some guys just aren't smart, And, social media wasn't as big. It was big, but it wasn't as big, But basically, there's a case where a player, I believe in not Fort Myers, but somewhere in Florida, in the Central Florida area. I'm trying to find it in the article and skip straight to it. Basically, he's like 17 or 18 going to college in the spring. He's going in the fall, but this is in the spring of his senior year. And I guess like maybe 11th grader or 10th grader. She was between 16 and 17. Somebody had him on film basically grabbing the girl up. I don't know if it was his girlfriend, and at gunpoint, but the charges were dropped. So that's one of the indictments. Okay, yeah. So according to Collier County Sheriff Office incident report, witnesses saw Bozy forcing a girl between the age of 16 and 17 into a late model Ford Focus sedan by a male witness. According to the report, Bozy, 18, grabbed the girl by the neck, and the witness approached the car and asked the driver and the girl what was going on, and the young girl was crying and upset. So I guess people don't really like the fact that Coach Prime is signing guys like this. But like Nick Saban said last year, you can suspend a guy, punish him, especially with the NIL, take the money away, or you can send him back to the street and they end up dead or they end up incarcerated. It's a lot of great guys that I played with that were better athletes than me, didn't even make it as far as me to college or, arena ball or anything like that because people gave up on them, and then you got some guys that you see in the Hall of Fame and you don't even know their backgrounds, so people can change, for the good or for the bad. But let's go further. If you go further down, there's another incident that says another Colorado player showed off a handgun while announcing his commitment. He has like an African name, Nwanko. Sorry about that. Had what appeared to be a Glock 40 on the table as he celebrated with Prime on a live stream. For the most part, the flashing incident went under the radar, but has relevance to the type of culture being fostered behind closed doors. In fact, Prime and his staff took his players up to the mountains for a retreat this offseason. The theme was to bond over fishing and shooting guns at the range. Let me talk. See, this is very action-packed. First of all, this is a commitment that Wankwo, I'm not sure your name, sorry. So Wankwo was doing. So he wasn't a part of the team, just like the other gentleman from Florida wasn't part of the team yet. Now, they says the Glock 9 was on the table, but when they show a screenshot of it, you can hardly really see it. So whoever was looking, they were looking really hard because they say it's a picture of it. I watched the video 2-3 times. I didn't see the gun, but, maybe, they got better eyes than mine. I'll take that word for it. But the thing about this, I'm not even excusing it, but they're trying to tie things in together, and I feel like they're reaching because they say that if it's just a theme of the culture. It says, in fact, Prime and his staff took players up to the mountains for a retreat this offseason. The theme was to bond over fishing. Okay, what's wrong with fishing? A lot of guys take their sons out to fish. A lot of guys don't, especially in the African American community or even in the white and Hispanic community. It's a lot of fatherlessness as the generations go on because, the women's liberation movement and feminism. A lot of women are requiring a lot more about men, and they don't take into account sometimes that the kid may need their father, even if he's a broke father, broke dad. He's doing the best he can. Sometimes women are, outdoing men in education, so they're out earning, so they don't want this man around. But if he's not around, your son might be running around gangbanging and having no firearms. Because at the end of the day, you're his mother. You can nurture him, but how can you show a dog how to be a dog if you're a cat? You know what I mean? They want to see a man and be a man. So that's what Coach Prime is doing. Taking them fishing. I've never been taking fishing. Matter of fact, no shots to my dad. It is what it is. He like to be on his his own thing, whatever. No shot, step pops, everything. Uncle, different guys fishing, but I never been fishing. My cousins, they took it upon themselves. They go on their own, but that's a nice thing to do. That's not football related. That's more like a father son, and that sounds like something that Bobby Bowden would do. He was very much family oriented when he would go recruit. For recruiting, he would not just recruit you, he would recruit your parents or your mother for those that had single mothers. But let's get on the shooting thing. It says shooting guns at the range. Now, that could be a self-defense thing, especially with all these guys having all this ice on, all this jewelry. You had the incident at UCLA where the Colorado players, they actually got robbed. Well, they didn't get robbed, but they had their things taken out of the locker room during the game. It wasn't secure, And a lot of guys, like I heard somebody make a statement about a recruit the other day that had on a lot of jewelry because you have NIL in high school now. He was on a recruiting visit, and they were saying, I hope he got something to protect that, which that's very unfortunate. That's sick and disgusting. I don't tolerate that, especially for minors and you grown men, or even if you're a minor too, hating on these kids. It's a million ways to get it. Choose one, but don't try to take nobody's stuff. But you got to see it from the athlete's perspective. It's NRA, it's legal. One of the amendments is the right to bear arms, whether it's from a corrupt government or whether it's from just criminals, because law enforcement, they respond after, not before the fact, so guys have to protect themselves. So if he's giving them training, that would be a positive thing. Now, I will say this on the flip side. We're going to play God's advocate because we don't mess with the devil. You got to be smart. Like I said, when I was rough around the edges, maybe because of the influences I had, I was always smart. You don't want to get your mom to get a phone call. You don't want to embarrass your parents. And you just don't want to go down for something stupid. Oh, what you down for? Oh, yeah, I went down for this. I went down for that. What you went down for? Oh, I did something dumb. You don't want to be sitting up in no county jail, just in law enforcement's possession in any type of way, not because they caught you, but because you were just moving sloppy and stupid. And this is not encouraging criminality, but this is just encouraging safety of the public, because a lot of dumb guys, dumb criminals, they are endangering everybody, especially these young kids with the alcohol and marijuana being legal, and now you got guns. That's a bad combination. So we do have to have this responsibility. Now I want to get on fights. It speaks on different fights that occurred. Now I want to speak to the mothers, because the fathers already understand this. Now, people might feel a certain way, but fighting to a certain extent is a part of football culture and young male culture in America and all around the world. You don't want to send your son out in the world, 18 years old, and they can't defend themselves. How are they going to have a wife? How are they going to have kids? That causes a lot of the gun violence because a lot of guys can't fight, so they'll grab a gun for something that they could have handled verbally. They could have walked away, or in worst case scenario, they could have just stood and fought. Even if you lose, a lot of times, if a guy knows you're willing to fight, he's gonna go the other way and look for an easy target. You know what I mean? But let's touch on this part. It says, while bullying was a common theme, there was another alleged incident involving a gambling debt between backup quarterback Colton Allen and wide receiver Caleb Mathis. Days after the Seton and Washington melee. Okay, so Seton is the offensive tackle. He's a 5-star. We're gonna go back to that. So I'm skipping around. Okay, so the son of Robert Mathis, who is Colorado's defensive back coach, was asked to pay Allen over a gambling debt in excess of $10,000, according to a former Colorado player. So this is a former Colorado player saying this. So this is his word against theirs, because I've been in locker rooms where guys leave and they're disgruntled and they lie, but I've also been in locker rooms where they're telling the truth and they don't have a voice. So we don't really know unless we have video proof. We had a video of the commitment. I didn't see the gun, but I'm going to take their word for it. And then there's a police report with the incident in Florida. But those are recruits. Those aren't players. This is the first thing with an actual player on the roster. So basically, it was a $10,000 debt, according to a former Colorado player. When Mathis refused, he allegedly proceeded to punch Allen repeatedly in the locker room, with players and coaches witnessing the assault. Allen allegedly refused to discuss the matter, fearing repercussions due to Mathis' connection to Coach Prime's staff. Athlon reached out to Allen's father, who also denied comment. Now, denying comment is fishy because they could have just said it never happened. Or they could have said, he ain't with me, I won the fight. Gambling between teammates, not a good idea. You have the apps, you know what I mean? You got the Hard Rock app. There's no reason to gamble with any human being at this point, because that is dangerous. Guns are not. Gambling has caused a lot of people their lives, caused a lot of people harm, because some dudes, they owe you and they don't want to pay. So, get you a Hard Rock app, You don't have to be gambling on the street. But fights happening in locker rooms, gambling or not, that's going to happen. You got guys that are intimidated. They think you're going to try to take their spot. You got guys that are seniors that just think they can intimidate young boys. I was never that way. I was always protective over the young guys. That's just how I am. Maybe being raised around my mother, having only little sisters. My cousins, they were boys, but they was down the street and they was younger than me. So I was always very protective of younger people. I never was a predator, despite what a lot of people think because of my appearance. I can't help, I'm dark skinned, dreads, whatever. And speaking of being dark skinned with dreads, not to stop the show, but this is an independent channel. So if I didn't say it in the beginning, we're trying to build up the channel. So I would appreciate if you guys donated to the Cash App. It's in the description along with the pics. It's $TY Rebel 22, $TY Rebel 22. And the reason why I brought it up with being dark skinned is because only for the single women out there. And we're gonna get back to the story. Because there's a lot of single women out there, they feeling bad and depressed. You're 25, you're 35, you're lonely, you ain't got no man. I can't be there for all of y'all, but, maybe a lucky one, if you invest in my collection plate, I might can bless you, you know what I mean? So if you think I'm handsome, pay my ransom, you know what I mean? Yeah, because I am the original Mr. Chocolate Factory, Willy Wonka Chocolate Factory. For all y'all that, think I'm appealing to you. But let's get back to the show, because, this ain't no love show, baby. This is a sports show. Now, like I was saying, fighting, you don't want it to get out of hand, but fighting happens, because there's even a scene where Coach Prime, basically there's a fight that happens with one of the key players on the team in the spring, and his teammates stand on the side, I guess, because they didn't want to get a penalty or get kicked off. And Coach got on them. He said, if one of our star players get into it, we all into it. They misunderstood it and saw him as encouraging fighting. But he's saying, look, if this the quarterback, if this the top offensive tackle making X amount of 100,000 in college or $1 million in college or in the NFL, if you don't protect Patrick Mahomes, you're going to get cut. You know what I mean? But I think Coach Prime is rough around the edges as a coach because he's so, I'm not going to say ghetto, but he's so cut and dry. Maybe even though he worked in the media, I think as a coach, he's more old school. And I think a lot of people have been living in this liberal cookie cutter world and they don't understand. If you want an omelet, eggs got to be cracked. You know what I mean? Now let's touch on a guy that's doing well at Florida, but he didn't do so well at Colorado. the world famous first 5-star. No, this was the second 5-star Coach Prime stole at a signing day, because he had Travis Hunter. He's like his second son. But we got Kamani McLean. It says Kamani was taking a lot of heat from everyone, said the former player. At the same time, Coach Prime was saying he was in the doghouse and needed to improve. Kamani was getting bullied by Deion Sanders. That's the safety, and that's Coach Prime's son that I believe either him or his brother. I think it's Shiloh is actually being sued by the incident in high school with a fight. But it sounds kind of fishy because he was in high school a long time ago. He's 24 years old. Why didn't he bring it up before then? Okay, after the Oregon State game, Shiloh slapped him several times, which left Kamani screaming, "I'm going to kill you," repeatedly. After that, you could tell he wasn't mentally there. It's hard when coaches you trust are calling you derogatory names on the practice field. Now, this is why I had a bad name as a kid, because there's been attempts, but no connection. I can't call this Kamani thing no lie. I saw it happen. This is why certain teammates to this day love me to life. Because we ain't gonna do that. And some of them can't stand me. Shout out to the never forgotten, legendary Sean Taylor. He went through this in the NFL as a rookie, where they tried to get him to carry the pass and try him. And he wasn't. I'm from Dade County. I ain't doing none of that. You got to understand where we come from. Now, Kamani, he from like the country part of Florida, so he might not be with it like that. Or he might be. I know some country dudes, they with it. But long story short story long, whether I won or lost, everybody know. Tyreek Gracie, you might want to leave him alone because his mama dropped him as a baby. Yeah, he ain't got it all. So if I was in the Kamani situation, I would have been kicked off the team. Because I'd have put hands on you like a pastor, baby. Yeah, you definitely wouldn't have did that to me. You definitely wouldn't have did that to me. You know what I'm saying? But Kamani, it's some dogs in Florida locker room too. In any locker room. So you can't run from that. But you don't want to get in trouble at the same time, because I understand that. Because this is Coach Prime's son. He controls the narrative. Because even in New England, I believe the reason why Malcolm Butler sat down in that Super Bowl where the Eagles beat the Patriots was because it was an incident between the coach's son, which was on the coaching staff at the time, Bill Belichick Jr., and Malcolm Butler, where it may have been some disrespect allegedly, and Malcolm Butler popped off. A Mississippi boy. Shout out to Mississippi boys. I went to Ole Miss. I got love for Mississippi. They ain't soft in the country. They with it too, But basically, when you're dealing with somebody that's connected to somebody in power, you probably do have to transfer or get up out of there, because you're not just dealing with them. You're dealing with that power dynamic. I had an incident in college where I didn't even have time to react. I tapped my teammate. I ain't gonna say his name. Like, go, it's time for you to go on the line. Coach calling you. And he thought I was hitting him. He popped out, bam, 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 bam. He ain't connect. I'm laughing at him. Because I really can't, he can feel whatever. We can get our rematch, but we grown men now, man. I got nothing but love for you, like Heavy D said. But long story short, my coach that was on the other side of the field didn't even know what was going on. But this was a white player, and I'm black. He kicked me off and this, that, and the third, and everybody scold him and tell him, Tyreek ain't even do nothing. Then he come in the locker room telling me, oh, I'm sorry. Oh, you could come back, whatever, and feel ashamed. Because he already had something against me. And I didn't even throw no hands. You feel me? So it is dynamics in locker rooms where it's favoritism. That does happen. They be like, oh, a coach will never do. Yes, they will. Coaches will lose games because they don't like this kid. These are human beings. These are not robots. This is not Madden. These are human beings with egos. People don't like to be proven wrong, especially when they're an adult. It takes a strong person to say I'm sorry. It takes a strong person to admit when they're wrong. That's why I'm not mentioning these people's names. People who's in the locker room, they know. They know what went on. Only reason why I ain't hit dude back because I had a helmet on, shoulder pads, and I'm looking at you like you silly. Because we all know if you really want to fight, we can fight. You trying to do this in front of people, make a scene, and I'm trying to help you out. Like you not paying attention. You singing a song, looking in the grass. He telling you to go in the drill. I'm just like, go. Dude, try to pop off. It is what it is. Because my homeboys from Florida, from Miami, they were like, you want to jump him? I'm like, nah, man, let that man have that. Because I was in a good mood. I was in good spirits. And plus, like I said, I had my own past. So one thing about me, and I'm going to tell all these players that have these gun incidents, when you got a checkered past, I never been arrested, nothing like that, by the grace of God. But when you seen as a problem child, even if you're not guilty of nothing, you kind of want to be smart and know when to walk away. You don't got to fight every battle. Now, let me show you, if I can find it, somebody that handled it the Ty Gracie way. because he's still at Colorado. Let me see if I can find something about Seton. Now, before I go to the Seton part, this is just a quick quote. One former player was quoted as saying, "It's like real life Grand Theft Auto, the video game. There are many distractions with fights, guns, and money floating around. Money floating around, I don't know what that got to do with the fights and the guns unless you talk about the gambling. The environment is unlike anything I've come from." Maybe you just ain't come from that, because Warren Sapp on the staff. He's a U boy, Miami Hurricanes. And you know how them locker rooms like. Those was like them Northwestern locker rooms. I heard Ja'Cory Harris speak on it, how you had some bad boys in his locker room, teammates bullying teammates, robbing teammates when he was at the West. And for all you people that's not from Miami and are not from Florida or not a Colorado fan, this applies everywhere, because there's ghettos and those ghetto kids in these football programs all over, even the private schools. You know what I mean? You see a lot of times you'll see kids and you're like, oh, why is he like that? You don't know who he's around, who he's playing with. Okay, Jordan Seton. Now, this is the Ty Gracie way. The violence often seems to come from personal vendettas, but not always. Jordan Seton, another five-star recruit, was allegedly bullied into proving his manhood and picked to fight former Colorado lineman Savion Washington. In April, the two were said to have exchanged blows, leaving both bloody. Witnesses described it as two bears scrapping for food. I like that quote. Two bears scrapping for food. Because look at it this way. These are offensive linemen, defensive linemen. They paid to attack the quarterback. They paid to protect the quarterback. Do you want somebody to protect your quarterback that's scared of a fist fight? All they doing is fighting with their hands and moving their feet when they on the line. Now, I don't encourage no violence at all, but I'm living in the real world. Now, I do think it need to be controlled. The adults involved, they got to be involved. Y'all gonna shake hands after it's over with. It cannot be no ghetto mess, no out of control. But I can see people in the comment section now like, oh, it shouldn't happen at all. We living in reality, baby. We living in 2024, or even if it was 1984. They gonna smile in your face, but behind closed doors, things are gonna happen. We don't know what you do with your wife at home. You do with your kids. We living in reality. Back to life, back to reality, like the old school song say. Now, I like Jordan Seton. He seemed like a good kid. He don't bother nobody. Like, I didn't bother nobody. People used to always say, shout out my big sister Brittany, Tyreek don't bother nobody. But if you hit him, he gonna hit you back. And a lot of times when you're a nice guy, you're a funny guy, you're a handsome guy, you Mr. Willy Wonka Chocolate Factory, you're a five-star like Jordan Seton, people be hating. Savion Washington probably was hating because he was getting his job took by a freshman. I remember going through certain things, and I wasn't even aware of it. Certain guys would show me love, but certain guys would be hating, and I didn't know what it was. You know what I mean? And I never really took the job. I went from the fives to the twos, never made it to the ones because I thought coach was picking on me. I should have been more mentally tough. Shout out to Kamani. But when it came to the players, I could handle that. But a lot of times I got labeled as a certain type of guy. Like, people love me now. I'm not gonna say what I do for a living, but I'm a model citizen. But I'm just saying, back then, a lot of times when you're a kid and you grow up either in the ghetto or around the ghetto, playing at these inner city parks, playing in these high schools, different things, you have to have certain survival tactics. Now, Kamani screaming out, he gonna kill you. You got to watch that too, because it's easy to just throw hands than threatening somebody, because that's considered a terrorist threat. So even if you're not a criminal, especially for our African-American brothers, our Hispanic brothers, the darker skinned people, even the white boys, you got to watch what you say. You know what I mean? You got to watch what you say. So you guys can look up the rest of the article. Tell me if you agree or disagree. I think it's a mixture of exaggerations and a mixture of truths. There's definitely things going on, but there's definitely things going on at Miami, Alabama, or Louisiana State. And if it wasn't going on, you wouldn't like it anyway. Because if you go get a locker room full of choir boys and you try to get them to play some football against a bunch of thugs, see how that work out. Miami, Notre Dame, Catholics versus convicts. And the funny part about it is Notre Dame, both of them was convicts, Miami and Notre Dame. I went to Catholic school. Don't believe that. The girls be freaky and the boys be sneaky D. You feel me? I got kicked out of it, but, that's another story. All right, so let me touch on a few things before we end the show, because Coach Prime took up a lot of time. I didn't attend for that. Okay, Hall of Fame. Andre Johnson. Shout out Carol City. His mama made him go to Miami High. I was just talking to my little cousin. I don't know if he watching. Y'all send the word to him. Now you see what I'm talking about. I wanted to go to Northwestern so bad because I grew up at Gwent Cherry and in the Liberty City area, whatever, back and forth, Miami Lakes, Liberty City. But if I would have just stayed at pace instead of going to American, knock on American, because I love y'all, but I would have probably turned out a little bit better faster. So Andre Johnson spoke on how his mom made him go to a better school in a better area instead of Carroll City, because I thought he was from Overtown, because a lot of Overtown guys went to Miami High before they brought Booker T back. He went all the way from Carroll City to Miami High, and it kept him out of trouble. It gave him structure. So a lot of you single moms, even two-parent homes, no, it's nothing wrong with sending your kid to a private school or even a public school that's in a better area. I played for Coach T.Y. at Gwent Cherry Park. T.Y. Hilton was our star player on my team. He could have went to Northwestern. He went to Miami Springs. Turned out great. Now his son is a top recruit, I think, going to Wisconsin. So shout out to T.Y. So sometimes for you kids, for you parents, you can't think about the popular school. You got to think about the future, education, NIL. How you gonna manage the money? Because even when you getting this money, you gotta you need to be networking while you're on the college campus, learning about stocks and bonds, learning about investing in franchise restaurants. I used to work for a franchise McDonald's when I was in college. It's just a lot that you need to learn about life, because you're gonna be 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 longer than you're gonna be 16. Don't sacrifice even in college, going to the wrong college, because Colorado may not be for you. Don't let 4 years of fun make you sacrifice 50 years of pain, if you even make it that far. Now, Ice Cube was talking about the Big Three league. Gary Payton is actually a coach. Gary Payton, you a fool. You need to calm down, player. But he was speaking on how America is losing in the Olympics in Big Three basketball and 3-on-3 basketball, but he's challenging the Olympic champs to play against the Big Three champs, because the best 3-on-3 players in the world are in the Big Three for Ice Cube. But America got a beef with Ice Cube because they feel like he undercutting the NBA. And that's another thing with America. We got to be about America. It's too much fighting. It's too much men against women, light-skinned, dark-skinned, whites, blacks, Democrat, Republican. And that's why we getting made fun of around the world. Now, we still winning, but it's getting close. It's not supposed to be close. We the empire, baby. So you can't allow your family disputes to cause strangers to think they can attack you. Now, Justin Fields, I already told y'all, they keep trying to pressure him to start over Russell Wilson. Now, if y'all really feel that way and y'all feel like y'all done helped him over a month of training camp or a week of training camp, cool. But at least let them fight it out on the field in preseason. It's going to be preseason starting Thursday all the way to Sunday or Monday, I believe. So look out for that on NFL Network, ESPN, Fox, NBC, ABC, anything with a letter in it. Okay, now, as far as the quarterbacks in New England with the New England Patriots, you got Joe Milton, the rookie. He's kind of outperforming the guy that they drafted in the first round from North Carolina, Drake May. So that's a dilemma. Remember, they had RG3, a first-round draft pick back in 2012. He got surpassed by Kirk Cousins. It's happened before. So Drake May, pay attention, baby. Okay, J.J. McCarthy. A lot of people are saying he's the best rookie quarterback. He has legs. He didn't have to use that at Michigan because he had a running game. He's throwing darts. He went to IMG. He was already college trained prior to college, and now we're starting to see that maybe Jim Harbaugh used him as a game manager, but he's really a game changer. We'll see, because he got a lot of weapons. I think they still have KJ Osborne from the Miami Hurricanes, or Buffalo College, University of Buffalo, by the way, Miami Hurricanes. Also, Jordan Jefferson. So that's big time. That rookie quarterback can come in and do some things. But we're looking forward to seeing all these rookie quarterbacks in preseason this week. We got J.J. McCarthy. We got Jaden Daniels. He will be playing. Michael Penix will be playing. Caleb Williams will be playing. Okay, Tyreek Hill. 3 years, $90 million. $65 million guaranteed. Number one player in the NFL top 100, a 99 on Madden. Brock Purdy. He's done great things on game day, but they say he's making a lot of mistakes. He's experimenting, that's what practice is for, but a lot of people are complaining. But he doesn't have Brandon Ayuk, for one thing, and he's trying to show that he can go down the field because it's a contract year for him, because he was a 7th-round pick. So he's trying to show that he's not just a game manager, dink and dunk. He can go down the field. So he's doing it in practice. So I think guys need to leave him alone. Brock Purdy is still that guy. Don't get it twisted. Jordan Love. Green Bay Packers had family night. He was throwing it to Watson. He was throwing it to Dobbs. He was throwing it to guys I never even knew their name, never seen their name. And I'm not going to mention them until they do it on game day. But Green Bay got some wide receivers, them same young wide receivers that Aaron Rodgers was complaining about 2 years ago. Oh, look at these rookies playing with me. They don't know the plays. They're not catching the balls. But he wasn't showing up to practice. Jordan Love is showing up in practice, baby. So you can't tell me we gonna go to the ballroom dance. I show up to practice, but you don't show up to practice. And now you got 2 left feet and we can't dance together. You ain't show up to rehearsal, baby. So shout out to Aaron Rodgers. We're going to end this on this. Very controversial, but it's a controversial show. The LA Chargers quarterback could be out for the first 4 weeks of the regular season. Now, Colin Kaepernick's original coach when he was in the NFL was Mr. Michigan. Harbaugh. Is it John Harbaugh? Yeah, I think yeah, John Harbaugh. He needs a quarterback. He said he believes Kaepernick should be in the league. Put your money where your mouth is. You need a quarterback. Your old quarterback is available. We know he still run fast. He still could throw darts. Do you have the unmitigated gall, as Stephen A. would say, to challenge the league? The league said that even the commissioner said, I want him back in the league. They paid him out for collusion. Will the Chargers bring back Kaepernick? Or is you scared of the backlash? You're going to get backlash regardless. I'm sure they're going to ask you about it. And if they didn't, I asked you. Y'all sent it to Harbaugh. But that's pretty much going to be my show for the day. It was some other topics that I'm probably going to touch on. I'll leave those for tomorrow. But put those picks in. God bless. And for all the ladies out there, the cash app. For my homies, you send a cash app too, but don't be trying to be funny. But for the ladies out there, it's $TY Rebel 22. $TY Rebel 22. If you think I'm handsome, pay my ransom so that you would invest in me and you might get the best of me. And y'all have a great day.